All right, guys, welcome back to another TA Tech News Weekly. I'm your host, TA Tech. We're here with Danny, the Tech Amigo. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Nice. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I've been a fan for a while. Really happy I can be a part of the community.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I've seen you around Twitter and I've seen your videos, man. Awesome job.
Thank you,
But
thank you.
why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us how you started your YouTube channel.
I'm Danny, your friendly tech amigo. Uh, Basically, I just love tech, like everything about tech. I've been about tech. I am a software engineer, so I have a little bit of that background, front end development. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've been doing tech for a while. Um, I wanted more to get into like the hardware side, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
things happened and I'm more
Yeah.
on the software development. But I also work at a automaker bushing company that's worldwide. I'm actually the quality manager there. So that's my
Oh,
nine
okay.
to five. And I do, YouTube at night just, for the hell of it. But, hopefully it gets growing. And now that I've got more time, I want to dedicate more time to YouTube and to social media and stuff like that. Because I've seen a lot of like great people. I've met a lot of great people
Yeah,
through YouTube, through X, and it's just good to see that there's other people like me that have that connection or that love for tech.
definitely.
You know what I mean? And I actually started the YouTube channel because of you might have heard of him, John Prosser.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I've always wanted to do tech, but tech was kind of, nerdy. And it
Mhm.
was nerdy, but he made when I saw his videos, it's funny tech.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I am, a wildly out guy. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, there's an actual audience
Yeah.
for this. So, big up
I
to
I
John Prosser.
yeah, I admire John so much. I think that he always had this thing to make fun videos with front page tech and everything. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, speaking about and John, if you're watching this, shout out to you, man. Dude, his videos have just upscaled to a quality that is just like wow. He made a video documentary not too
Yeah.
long ago, and
The
that was just
FPT
like
docs.
wow.
I actually tweeted that I was watching I tweeted that I was starting to watch the documentary, which was the Steve Jobs Death Steal,
Yep.
that one, the latest one he did.
Yeah.
Um I tweeted I'm gonna start watching it, and then I tweeted after I watched it. And I'm not lying when I tweeted that I said, dude, I was in tears by the end because of all, the conspiracy over at Foxconn and all that stuff. Um,
Dude, that
I was in
was
tears, and then the audio was just crazy. And I tweeted it, and he retweeted it.
wow.
So I was like, I'm just a fan, and I really appreciate what he did and what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Yeah.
I still want to hear him or see front page tech as front page tech because I'm used to going on YouTube and seeing a video from him once a week being, funny,
Yeah.
John, Jern. Um, but yeah, and then I also went into his uh podcast and I called in for the
Mhm.
recycle bin, and that audio was also featured in one of the episodes where
Oh, okay.
I talk about how, you know, I can wait 2 or 3 months for a banging video from him because
Yeah.
it's always gonna be a good video.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He always does his background research, and he just him and, Brian, the writer,
Right, yeah.
man, like, those guys
Dude,
have a great, chemistry, and they can just,
They
you
make
know, they
movies.
can, yeah, yeah, they're gonna
Dude.
be on Netflix pretty soon. I guarantee you
Oh yeah, yeah, for
that.
sure. I mean, why isn't he already? I
Yeah.
mean, he's just amazing.
Like he said,
Um,
it's all about the money too. So you know,
yeah,
he's got to
exactly.
get a good check.
Yeah. Listen, I think I've probably not even missed I don't think I've ever missed an episode, honestly. Um, it's just like his videos are amazing. Um, and his engagement too. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I've had him pop up on my live stream like once or twice. And the funny thing is, I was talking about him and one of his videos as like one of the topics. And
Hmm.
I mentioned his video and I'm like, yo, if you don't believe me, go watch his video. 2 seconds later, he's popping up in the chat saying hi to me and to people,
That's
putting
awesome.
the eyeball emoji, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, is this like legit? I literally had to go and check if it was actually him doing it because YouTube nowadays and people make fake accounts and
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm like, bro, what? But John is the most. I mean, I think he's very genuine. And I love the podcast that him and Sam Cole do. Um,
Oh yeah. Genius Bar.
Genius Bar. Genius Bar. Dude.
Look, I like Genius Bar. Fun fact, also off topic a little bit.
Mhm.
My sister and Sam Cole went to the same university. They went to Berkeley University. Or no, sorry,
No way.
Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. My sister was, I think, like 2 years younger than he is, or maybe a
Wow.
year. And I was watching one of his videos, and she goes, "Hey, I've seen that guy on campus." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think he goes to Bradley, or he used to." And I was like,
Damn.
"Yeah, it's Sam Cole. It's from Apple Track." She's like, "Yeah, I don't know, but I've seen him on campus." And I was like, "Dude, this guy's legit, like, you know." And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
John and Sam, if you guys let me be on your show, I got some crazy details I want to talk with you guys about.
Oh, okay, okay. I would love to have. I actually did another podcast with a buddy of mine, Benji from Benobi Tech. We had the Tech Unlocked podcast, and we had a
Okay.
bunch of creators over there. And we actually had John and Sam separately
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, schedules couldn't coincide. So we were like, why not just have them separately? And it was
Yeah.
fun. We talked a lot about you know what they do and their friendship and everything. So I've had a lot of fun. My friend had to stop that podcast, so that's why I created this one. Because I was like, dude, I was on. When you're on a schedule and you just don't want to stop.
Yeah.
Like I was on that schedule, and I'm like, yo, I have to make something because I'm so bored. I don't even know. Like I make and besides this podcast, I do make other things on the channel. I mean, you've
Yeah, I've
seen,
seen them. Yeah.
and but I'm like, I want to do something. So I
Right.
created this. Started inviting people. I'm now actually emailing a bunch of people, um, bigger creators. I mean, I don't know how far I'm gonna get, but
Worth a shot, you know?
yeah, exactly. I mean, if we could have them on that podcast, I'm sure I can have somebody on mine. You know,
Right. Right.
so but yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself. First, what software? I mean, I can probably already tell, but what software and hardware do you like best, Apple or Android?
I'm not like a love and hate kind of guy. It's
Hmm.
just that I'm so tied up in the Apple ecosystem
Hmm.
that it's really expensive for me to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have iPhone, I have Apple Watch, I have MacBook Air, I have M2 Pro Mac Mini, I have the M2 iPad Air. My
Shoot.
son has the M1 iPad. He also's got I we let him have the iPhone 10. Um, he's got a Series 4 Apple Watch. My wife's got the Series 9. I got the Series 9. She's also got the M1 iPad Pro.
Damn.
Look, I was really wanting to get the iPad M4,
Hmm.
but I was like, you know what? Use my iPad and I use it only to watch content or jot down notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
While I was at school and stuff like that, I only use it to jot down notes. So I was like, I don't really need it. I
Right.
don't really need to know, the micro LED or the quantum whatever uh display the new one got, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I literally.
I watched a video on my wife's iPad, which is the
Mhm.
M1, and then I watched it on mine, which is the iPad M2. And man, I messed up. I think I should have bought the M4 just because of the display and
Yeah.
how crisp it is with HDR. I was like,
If you don't
dang.
have it side by side, you don't like
Yeah,
seriously,
exactly.
man, dude.
But but I'm happy with my M2. I mean, I use it almost every day.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, I do like Android. I do like Windows.
Yeah.
I like Linux. I like everything. Um, but I am more tied up into the Apple ecosystem. At work, I have Windows,
Mhm.
so I have like Adele Latitude 5590 or something like that.
Oh
And
shit.
we use more Windows stuff there. So
Good
I
luck for
have
you.
but I have Chrome with my user on both my Mac and my work just because sometimes I do have free time and I'm,
Yeah.
checking things and I'm putting up on my drive at work and, I can read them when I come home, things like
Right.
that. But as far as, the Apple ecosystem notes, I pick up on my iPhone and I get home and I pick up my computer, my laptop or, my tablet and I can keep writing in my notes.
Oh wow.
So, it's just the Apple ecosystem has been getting
Ah,
really
dude,
crazy. But
it's unmatched.
I mean, everything else that's coming up right now, like I said, we got Google Drive, we got OneNote for Microsoft, uh,
Yeah.
and it's cross multi-platform, so I can literally do something on my Windows computer, and then I can jump over to my Mac and keep doing it. So the
Right.
technology these days, they want that money, so they're gonna try to
Yeah.
get everybody in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Dude, I honestly, um that was a thing for me. Having an iPhone, and when I started my channel, I had a Windows computer as well. And bruh, I just told the story on a live stream that I was on. I'll keep it short and sweet. I when I first started my channel, I would try to do my live streams off that Windows computer, but it was so old that it couldn't handle it, and it would boot
Mhm.
me off. Half the time, I would have to join through my phone and continue there, and then have to go on my computer. Back when StreamYard um, first started off, that's how it was. And but now we have the app. But anyway, dude, it used to be so hard for me because I would have to jump back and forth because this would be the only way to start and stop recordings, live streams, whatever. Now you can go on your phone and do the rest, but like before it was so complicated. Um, I remember that when I had that computer, it used to just shut off on me mid
Mm.
live stream. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm done. M2 MacBook, I'm done. Actually, let me rephrase that. Excuse me. I had an Intel MacBook, um, 13-inch MacBook Pro, and now I have an M2 same 13-inch MacBook Pro. And bro, like honestly, it's so much better. Like night and day difference. Not saying that Windows computers aren't good, but when you compare it to a Mac, you can't. I don't think you can, honestly.
Like, I mean, I said it in my last video, and Tim Cook is going to be stepping down pretty soon,
Yep.
and I think John Turnus from the hardware is
Yes.
up next, because the hardware is literally what's keeping Mac alive. In
Yes.
general, I'm talking about
Yes.
Apple.
Yes.
If you look at the this past year from Apple, they released the biggest thing they released, which was kind of a flop, um, was the Apple Vision Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that piece of hardware is so far ahead that there's no software for it.
Right.
And
Right.
Apple is known to be a software company,
Yep.
but where's the software?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Craig Federighi, he's got good looking hair, but he's got no software right now. AI is AI is like really, really slowing down. And that's one of the
Yeah.
biggest reasons why I'm still on the iPhone 14.
Right.
I have an iPhone 15 somewhere around here. That's my work phone, but
Mm-hmm.
I have an iPhone 15 and I have an iPhone 14, and there's really not much of a difference.
Yeah.
The only the biggest difference visually is the dynamic island.
Dynamic Island. Yep.
But
Yep.
honestly, I don't even use it. Like, there's nothing for me to use for on Dynamic Island.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
the
mean, there
camera's
is.
a little better, but if you pixel peep, then yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
social media compresses it so much that you can't really pixel peep.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. I have the 15 Pro, and I actually made a video, um, talking about how I think honestly, uh, software to me, anyway, is better than the hardware. I don't know how you feel about the iPhone 16 lineup, um, and the camera button, uh, specifically. But I think it's completely useless. And I was just again, I was just talking about it with my other friend on the live stream. I honestly think that um, they could have gone into something different because with the action button, yes, it has multiple functions. A lot of people probably don't have it set to that. But from what I've also heard, a lot of people are still using the camera on the screen versus that button. So,
Like I said, it's a great piece of hardware, but there's no software to back it up.
mhm,
I mean,
mhm,
the hardware is there. There's
mhm,
just no APIs, nothing that's running it to make it more useful.
yeah,
You have the iPhone 15 Pro, so
yep,
you have the action button on the
yeah,
side.
yep,
So you use the action button to open your camera and to take pictures, right?
mhm,
And then the iPhone 16, you have another complete button that does the same thing.
right,
And you have the iPhone 16, I think it's got the ultra wide also at 48 megapixels.
mhm,
And I think that's about it as far as well, the chip, obviously. But
mhm,
other than that, I think that's about it. So
right,
if you're on a budget, or if you're on like a 2-year plan, you're not gonna jump from one phone to the other. Hell,
right,
I'm coming from a personal iPhone 14, and
mhm,
I didn't jump to the 15. I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna wait.
yeah,
The 16 came out, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna
right,
wait. The 17 looks promising, but I have been wanting to switch to Android for a while, because the iOS is so buggy lately. It is so buggy,
yes,
and
yes,
as a software developer, like, I'm just like, wow.
dude, it's awful, it's awful.
So
what are your thoughts? I don't know if you follow the leaks and rumors and all that stuff. What are your thoughts on iPhone 17 Air? Apparently,
yeah, that's
uh,
what John called it the air, and he just it was actually one of his I think it was on Genius Bar, and he's like, I just called it the air, and then the next day Mark Gurman decides to call it the air as well. So the name is sticking. John is the the cause of all this from what what he said. But
yep.
I don't think the air is gonna sell. I think it's gonna sell.
Mm-mm.
I think it's gonna sell out the gate, and then once people have it, they have 2 weeks to return it, and I think they're gonna return it just like they returned the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
The one thing that I do think that is gonna stay, and it's gonna be a pretty big hit, especially if it maintains the same price point, is the iPhone SE
Yes.
4. Well, now it's called the iPhone 16e.
Yep.
So that that's what I think it was Maji Boom from Twitter. He mentioned it was going to be the iPhone 16e because it's going to have the chip, same chip as the iPhone 16 to
Right.
power Apple Intelligence, which is a joke because I've seen a lot of people having iPhone 16s and turning off
Dude.
Apple Intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't use it. I have it on my Macs, on my iPads, and
Yeah.
I don't use it at all.
I use it very, very seldomly. I mean, I don't know if you've tried the new app that they have.
The
Um,
emoji making thingy?
yeah, the image playground.
Yeah, no.
You can make cool stuff with it. I don't use it like every day.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I just made a picture of myself here, but like,
Oh, I think
I
I've
think
seen that on your Twitter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've posted some on my Twitter. But literally I just made this again right now. But for that I think it's cool, but like I don't know. I mean, this is not something you're gonna be using every day. The things that I really enjoy is how Siri is a tiny bit smarter using Chat GPT and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. Other than that, it's
Well,
like,
that's the thing. It's not Apple Intelligence. It's ChatGPT. At
yeah,
the end of the day, it's not Apple Intelligence. It's a third
yeah,
party ChatGPT that's gathering all this information, which is not Apple Intelligence.
right,
It's
right,
still lacking a lot, and I understand. I made a video about it, and I said, you know what? I like how Apple is coming that the Apple Intelligence is gonna be on your device and not
yep,
up on a server somewhere because,
right,
you're definitely gonna need VPNs from now on just to
mm,
keep your data safe and, out of whatever God may plan later on in life, right? But
right,
to keep it on your device and to only navigate or reach out to the Apple servers when it's really needed,
yeah,
and they have a whole new structure around that to prevent, leakage from going out. That is cool. That is awesome. That is something that I think no other AI company has thought of or has yet to put out. So I think
definitely,
that's really cool. But they promised this 2024, June 2024. We are now, what is today? The 6th of
yeah,
January 2025, and we still haven't gotten everything they said.
yeah.
And it's exhausting because I don't live in the US. I live in Mexico, but
Oh, okay,
I watch NFL and
yeah,
I see the commercials
mm-hmm,
of the in the United States, and all the commercials that advertise iPhone is Apple Intelligence.
mm-hmm,
But it doesn't have Apple Intelligence. That's false advertising. Like somebody should sue Apple in the States and say, "Hey, you have false advertising because You don't
Yeah.
have Apple Intelligence when I get it out the box.
Right.
Literally, there's nothing there, and somebody could sue them just like they sued Red Bull for not giving you wings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I mean, I'm not trying to be an Apple fanboy or anything, but like, I mean, I like it, but they have a lot to work on still. They have a lot to work on still.
I,
Especially, I don't know how you feel about, um, I mean, I think performance is okay. Um, I think that for me, and I mean, maybe this is me being a techie. I do like how they keep giving us software updates. I'm all about that. Um, but I really wish they would kind of focus more on battery life because I think battery life, each and every update, it like fluctuates, and it's just like what the heck, you know?
well, but we go back to the software and hardware. Um, I think in general, the IT, the techies need to work on another type of power source,
Yes.
uh, a different type of battery, because we're pretty much at the climax of our lithium batteries. We know
Mm-hmm.
how much it's gonna, we can use it and stuff like that. And
Right.
now we have chips like the Snapdragon X Elite. You have,
Right.
the M4s. You have the new NPUs from Windows and from Intel. I think they're coming out pretty soon. They're
Yep.
actually in CES. Um, so now, it's going more to the software or to the hardware. I'm sorry, and the hardware. They're putting in these cores, you know, uh, energy reducers to
Right.
use less energy but give you the same performance. Apple did
Mm-hmm.
that really well with the M1 and all the M series, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to follow up on this." Snapdragon came out with the Snapdragon X and the Snapdragon X Elite, and they have their Windows laptops.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to get my hands on one, but I haven't seen them on sale here in Mexico yet. But I really want to
Right.
get my hands on those laptops because they're 20 hours plus on battery life,
Yeah.
and that's something you never saw before a M1 chip from Apple.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So definitely battery life is something but I think we're at our peak point, and I think that we need to develop a new form of technology, a new type of battery,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's gonna give us more battery because I think now with the lithium battery that we have is tip top. Maybe it's reached its peak. I do
Yeah.
think we need to, advance on other things. We have electric cars, so I think now that the EVs are rolling out everywhere worldwide, um,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna see a new type of battery be invented.
Yeah, for sure.
There needs to be a demand for something in order for somebody to supply it. So now the demand is we need smaller batteries that push out more power,
Yeah.
and somebody's gonna come up with it.
I really think so. I mean, you were just mentioning CES. I think honestly, um, that's something that they should uh show off at CES. I think that honestly, CES has so much already. Um, like it's mind blowing. But I definitely think that they need to show off something. Um, you know, give us more. I don't know. Like I feel like they really need to improve. Um, like especially, I mean, I think the move to USB C helps a lot. Um, with faster charging, but at the same time, how good is that for the battery? You know what I mean?
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, the battery's still the battery, and it doesn't matter if you use lightning. It doesn't matter if you use um USB-C, doesn't matter if you use micro USB-C. Uh, you can use USB-C, but like Apple did it on purpose. Like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
Pro comes with a different lightning cable than
Yeah.
the 15 normal
Right.
because it could support a higher wattage, so you can
Hmm.
charge it faster. The battery's going to be drained down the same, but you can
Yeah.
charge it faster,
Yeah.
and you can use it to to transfer videos and files and stuff like that a lot faster. But the energy consumption is the same.
Right. Right.
Maybe a little bit less for you because you have the Pro, so you got the A17 Pro, I think it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than the A17 normal. So you got a couple more cores in there that help you with the power. But at the end of the day, we need a new battery. We just need something new
Yeah.
because the conventional battery that's
Speak
been going around has been forever.
Speaking about CES, have you kept up with? I mean, I know, was it yesterday or today was the first day?
Today,
Um,
yeah,
have you seen anything that they've
I've seen a
unveiled?
I've seen a couple things. I was actually I'm really excited to see the new processors that Nvidia was going to show off today.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are going to be crazy because I like to game. Do you game?
Yes, I don't game on PC. I'm more of a console.
Yeah, same here. But I do want to build a PC. Just to build a PC.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've
yeah.
always wanted to have my own components and have it look cool and all that aesthetic stuff. But I did see the AMD something, and then I saw a bunch of Samsung TVs with uh transparent TVs. There's
Yep,
just like the glass, and
yep.
you got and I was like, all
What
right,
about
that's
that?
cool.
I saw this very briefly. That TV that like expands in like 3D. I don't know
Oh,
if it
I
was a
didn't see
TV
that
or a
one.
monitor. I just saw it in one of I think, let me see what it was. I think it was Mac Rumors that talked about it, and I'm just like, wait, what? It's so cool. Like, it's so cool. I'll have to send you a video, but little things like that, like I think, and they even said it might not come into the real world, but just to see what could be possible, it's just mind blowing. It
I
really
mean,
is.
if you actually look at CES, I think not to be over exaggerated, but 80% of the things that are shown there are never going to come to life,
Oh yeah, for sure.
or not to life within the next decade minimum. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? I mean, we
Hmm.
saw vacuum robots, I think 7 8 years ago,
Right.
and they're barely starting to roll out like heavily as a consumer.
Right.
More importantly, a consumer friendly price.
Hmm.
Because we all know something comes into production, and the very first thing is R&D, and that is a bunch of money being thrown into to research and to develop all this stuff, but there's no money coming in because there's
Right.
nothing being sold. So you're just throwing a bunch of money at research, and then you hopefully you hit something and you make
Hmm.
the product, then it goes mainstream. I did
Yeah.
see a robot vacuum, speaking about robot vacuums, where it
Yeah.
detects like socks and stuff, and then it brings out an arm and it picks it up, and then it vacuums and it
That
comes back down,
was.
puts it back. That's something that I like because my son leaves his toys out everywhere. So that'd be something that pick up the toy vacuum mop. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love that. Yeah. Segueing a little bit. What are your thoughts on like um robots and stuff like that? Like, I've heard that like Samsung and Apple want to make a robot to essentially do housework or whatever. What do you think of that? Where How long do you think it's going to be until that actually comes? I mean, now we're kind of seeing it happen in like stores and stuff like that, but how long until we actually can see it in our homes?
I think I go back to what I just stated is when it becomes a friendly price to all of us consumers. Um, Elon Musk has been rolling out his robots, and he says that they're going to be
Yeah.
available, I think next year, something end of this year, something like that.
Yep.
Um, I like the thought of having a robot do my chores.
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
like the thought of having a robot do my son's chores.
Right.
That takes away the discipline that we as parents show our children.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if we have a robot and I'm just like, hey, you gotta make your bed, and it's like, oh, uh, my ex robot already did it. I'm like, no, you gotta make it. And he's like, nope, she already did it. And I was like, that I'm kind of it'll evolve. I know it'll
Yeah.
evolve, and we will
Yeah.
probably do some other things to discipline our children or to make them better adults in the future.
Hmm.
Um, but that I mean, I've seen one too many movies, man. Like I
Yeah.
watch a lot of
Yeah.
movies. So, I Robot and the
Yeah.
Terminator and I Robot is the one that like
Dude.
really got to me because I thought that guy that the robot maker, the guy, he looked a
Hmm.
lot like Steve Jobs. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, what if like Steve already had something up his sleeve?
Dude.
And then like conspiracy wise,
Oh, of
something
course.
happened to Steve because of he did something or whatever. So I like the thought of having a robot around, sure, but I think I'd be a lot calmer if I didn't.
Hmm. Yeah.
Maybe when I'm older, like 80, and I'm already in my deathbed,
Yeah.
that a robot can
Exactly.
clean my my buttocks and stuff like that. Then that'd be cool. You know what I mean? But right now, I'm I'm on both sides, just like the AI. I'm on
Right.
both sides, like with that. I'm not as long as they can't make their own decisions,
Yeah.
because that when they start making their own decisions, man, that's gonna
That, that's gonna
be.
that's gonna be scary as hell.
And we're
That's
not
gonna
we're
be
not far
scary.
away from that. We're not far. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, no.
we already have that. Netflix does that all the time. They
Oh yeah.
recommend what they think you want to see
Yeah.
based on previous observations, which is pretty much an AI.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
robots are
crazy.
cool, but I don't know. I'm kind of scared. Actually, it's
Like
like,
we used to hear AI, and we're just like, oh, it's a new thing. But technically, if we really thought about it, it's been a thing for many, many years, and it's just like, wow. I mean, take YouTube for example. Like you watch YouTube and then you see things um recommended to you, and it's like, wow, like they already
yeah,
know what you're watching and how,
yeah.
so it's like, wow.
I miss when AI used to mean Allen Iverson. That I'm a basketball guy, and I fun fact.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I used to live in the States, and I used to live in Chicago, the
Oh, okay.
suburbs of Chicago, and our basketball team used to play versus Lake Forest, which was where Michael Jordan's kids went.
Yep.
And he was on the basketball team, and he would go over to our high school. Michael Jordan would go over to our high school with no security, no nothing, and he would just sit, and nobody would bother him because he was Michael Jordan. So I've been a fan
Wow.
of basketball since I can remember. But you know,
Damn.
I miss it when AI used to mean Allen Iverson and not Apple Intelligence or you know artificial intelligence. As big
It's
as
crazy.
of a techie I am, oh man, it does scare me. It does scare me,
Yeah.
um, because I mean they don't even know how ChatGPT is growing right now.
Oh, oh
So
yeah.
I mean it's just
It's
learning from itself, and there's
yeah.
no endpoint. And I think
Right.
our world leaders are taking their time to implement laws on
Yep.
AI.
Yep.
So they need to, start doing something because AI is here and it's not going away, just like the COVID.
No.
So we
Yeah.
need to start doing something about it.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Um, what are your thoughts on Samsung Unpacked? What do you think is going to be coming out this year? Do you follow any of
I
that?
do. I do. I don't cover it as much because I did a Samsung Unpacked from last year and
Mhm.
it got really, really, really low views. Like
Oh, jeez.
it bombed. So I was like, my audience is not there. Um,
Yep.
I like to follow everything, everything that's related to tech, whether it's manufacturing, hardware, software, everything that's related to tech, I follow. So Samsung Unpacked, this should be later this month or early next month. They haven't really said yet.
Yeah,
Um,
it's January 22nd.
January 22nd, it's already out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's official statement.
Yep.
So I really wanted a Samsung just because of the circle feature, where you
Mm.
can circle and it tells you,
Yep.
what it is and stuff like that. I really wanted that. Apple tried to do it with the iPhone 16 Pro that you can hold your camera button, and look at whatever. I remember
Mhm.
the stupid commercial that Apple did when they grabbed the phone. They went up to a
Mhm.
dog and then they took a picture so that it would tell them what kind of dog it is. But the
Yeah.
the owner is
Yeah.
standing right there, and they could have asked the owner, just like, "Hey, what kind of dog do you got?"
I know. A lot of people mention that, and I'm just like,
But
common sense. People don't have it.
Samsung, yeah. But if you actually look at it, Samsung's got a way bigger ecosystem
Oh yeah,
with
for sure.
smart things. You got your TVs, you got your fridges, you got your stoves, you got
Right.
your dryer, your washer. You got a bunch of Samsung things, right? I
Right.
really want to. In the Samsung Unpacked is pretty much watch and the phone.
Mhm.
So the phone, it's probably going to be like a 300 megapixel camera.
Yeah.
Um, it's probably going to be a 5 or 6 milliamp hour or 6,000 milliamp hour battery.
Mhm.
It's going to be those big numbers. But at the end of the day, when you look at it on paper, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be,
Right.
uh, um, you can use your phone, you can zoom out, 1,000 feet, or you can take a picture of the next man on the moon, which is going to be pretty soon, according to NASA.
Mm.
But I do want a Samsung phone just because I want to be in both worlds and I want to
Yeah.
have the comparison of both worlds. Um,
Yeah.
Another thing I want is the Google Pixel, but they don't sell them in Mexico. So I would have
Right.
to buy it from the States, like have somebody bring it from the States or something, um, because they don't sell them here. But I really want the Google phone
Wow.
just to have it and just to see the 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 UI and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, but as far as Samsung Unpacked, I think the Apple Watch Ultra, or sorry,
Mhm.
the Samsung Watch Ultra, I think that's what it is.
Mhm.
Um, it's got great UI actually. If you like, I played around with it at the store, and
Yeah.
it's got better UI than Apple does. I'm not gonna lie. I like
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but like again, like I said, if I jump into the Samsung ecosystem, I'm gonna have to buy a watch, headphones. I'm gonna have to buy um phone,
Yep.
you know, and all that stuff. So Apple or Samsung Unpacked, Apple the watch. Um, I think it's Galaxy S24, S20 or S25, S25 Ultra, S25 Plus. Mm, the camera's gonna be great. Battery
I mean,
life, they
what are
they
your
have to do
thoughts?
something with the battery life.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the 100 times zoom camera? And do you think Apple will ever compete with that at some point?
I think Apple is doing things based on its market. and
Mhm.
based on its consumers.
Mhm.
Um, you have the iPhone 15 Pro.
Yep.
Do you have always on display on?
Yes.
Do you use it?
Oh yeah.
Is it like one of the features that you love?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A lot of iPhone users don't.
Right.
They're just
Right.
like, yeah, well, we finally got it, but we don't use it.
Right.
So I think Apple is really strategic based on what their consumers want because Apple is really
No,
good
for
at
sure.
telling you what you need,
For
but
sure.
not acknowledging what you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they will eventually. I mean, we've seen they come up with a 5x
Mhm.
crop and zoom, which was really good because it's not you push 5x and you get a clear picture.
Yeah.
Not like when
Yeah.
you zoom into something and you take a picture and it's blurred out and it's got noise all over it.
Mhm.
Um, but I think Apple's gonna go slowly with it. And I mean they have Sony cameras
Mhm.
and Sony is up there. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think they will. It's just they don't need it. Their
No.
consumers are not asking for it.
Right.
Would it be cool to have? Yeah. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
It's better to have. It's better to have. Well, how did that saying go? It's better to have and not need than need and
Y-
not have.
Yep. Yeah.
But eventually, I
So
mean,
true.
I'm not worried about it.
So true. Um. Yeah, man. I honestly like. I don't know. To me, and let me ask you, if Apple didn't exist, what would you go for?
I think if Apple didn't exist, there would be less competition. I think Samsung wouldn't be where they're at. Um,
True. True.
so I think I would probably be with HTC
Oh, okay. Yeah. That
or
was a good
maybe
company.
or maybe BlackBerry would still be in the market.
Yes.
You know what
Yes.
I mean? So if Apple didn't exist,
Yes.
maybe I'd still
Did
be
you
a
just read my
BlackBerry
mind?
person.
Because I was like, I'm surprised this guy's not saying BlackBerry because not even kidding you. Before I found out about iPhone, I was gonna go for a BlackBerry, and then another friend of mine got at the time it was the iPhone 4, and I was sold right away. Like she started showing me stuff. I just started messing around with it, and I'm like, yo, I need this phone. Forget BlackBerry, forget that uh uh, uh, the keyboard and everything, because that's
Yeah,
what sold me with the BlackBerry was the
the
number
query
pad
keyboard.
and
Yeah.
the letters were all separate, and I'm just like, yo, wait, what? And then I saw that, I'm like, you know what? Nah. And then another short story here. I had the iPhone 4. I had a lot of issues. This is actually where my YouTube story starts a little bit. I got the iPhone 4 and I started like having issues. First of all, my mom had got it for me for Christmas, and sh at the time, I didn't know anything about software issues and this and that. Um, and it was crazy because there was so let's say I got a phone call, I could hear that person, but that person could not hear me. So
Wasn't
I'm
it when they had
like,
the antenna issue where you cover up one of the
yeah,
antennas and yeah,
yeah,
iPhone 4, I think it was, yeah.
yeah. And I didn't know about that. I honestly don't think they even knew about it at the time
No,
because
no.
literally I went to the store the next day. By the way, and I think this is true to this day, never ever go to an Apple store the day after Christmas. I
Oh, because of why?
because it's so crazy. Because it's so crazy. People are returning things and doing whatever. I think it's so. I mean, I went that time, and I'm just like, My mom was even like, "Are you sure you want to go in there?" I'm like,
Yeah, I
"Yes."
have
Um,
to.
I mean, we waited about 3 4 hours, but it was worth it at the end. Uh,
Yeah,
but then I started seeing other things, and like again, I didn't, think anything. Like I didn't think, oh, this is a software issue. Once they update, it's gonna get better. For every little issue at the time, I was always at the. I was there weekly, weekly when I had the iPhone 4. So much so that I think I had that phone for like a year and a half, 2 years. And after that, my sister was like, "You need to go to Samsung. They're so much better. This, that, the other." Yeah, okay. I didn't think it was that much better at all. I mean, yeah, they had uh, at the time they had, you know, the battery could be replaced and whatnot,
right,
easily replaceable, I should say, um, and stuff like that. But in terms of software was another thing that I had trouble with on Samsung because, and I don't know if you were ever familiar with it at the time. I would get a notification. I'd be like doing stuff on my phone, going on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and I'd be on my phone scrolling like nothing. All of a sudden, I get a notification saying that the application has stopped. However, I'm still in the application. It's still booted, running fine. YouTube, I'd be playing YouTube videos, and that would pop up, and I'm like, this makes no sense. I go back to Verizon, and I'm like, listen, what the heck? So then at that point, iPhone 6 came out, and I loved the design, and I'm like, I'm going back to iPhone because you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I gotta go back to something. I got so used to iPhone that I was just like, yeah, no, I can't. Especially
can't go anywhere else.
with the way things were on Samsung. I'm like, yeah, no. And to this day, I'm on iPhone. You know, but that was just crazy.
I mean,
But
I grab an Android and it does feel a lot different,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. But
and it's crazy to me how with folds and flips out now, I cannot stand. Like I think they're cool and whatnot, but they're not for me.
oh, wait, let
And
me ask you a question. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, I'm 36.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, I think it was maybe sophomore year,
Mhm.
sophomore year. The Razor Flip came out, and
Yep.
I remember my friend Gabe, may he rest in peace. Gabe had that phone, and he's like, "Check this out, dude. It's a $200 phone." I was like, "You paid $200 for a phone?" That was, that was back in the day. Now we pay $1,500 for a phone.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him, like, "You paid $200 for a
Yeah.
phone. Like, you're just gonna text and call, brother." And at the time, it was literally just text and call.
Yeah.
But now you
Yeah.
have, you have email, you have YouTube, it's basically your phone is everything because you can unlock your car, you can unlock your house, you have smart
Yeah.
things, you have, IoTs, you have an infinite amount of things. But back in the day, I was like, $200 for a phone, bro? Are you kidding me? Like,
It's
we could have
crazy.
partied with
It
that, you
really
know?
is. And I
But
mean,
flip
to
phones
this
that are
day,
now, flip phones now, okay, yeah. Would I buy one? Probably if Apple dropped one, yeah.
yeah.
But I'm so used to having my work phone, like here. I'm so used to having my this one's my personal phone and my work phone, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
always like this. They're always like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So when I'm gonna see something, I'm always like, I gotta open them like this. So I'm kind of used to just have already having like a fold.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? But I couldn't picture myself holding something this big
Yeah.
at all
No.
times. I couldn't
No.
picture that.
I would go, and I've said this before, I would go for a flip faster than I would go for a fold
I could
because
see
flip
that.
phones have always existed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's what we were used to back then.
yeah.
And I think that is easier than this.
Flip phone definitely. It's compact. My niece has, I think, the Samsung Flip 5 or 4,
Mhm.
and she loves it. I mean, but then again, she's I think she's gonna be 13. She's not yet a teenager, but you know, it's the cool thing for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
And that's the thing, like, especially for us techies, yeah, it's cool and whatnot, but like day to day, in certain scenarios, it's like, mm, I don't know, man. You know,
okay, so
um,
so let me ask you something.
sure,
The iPhone, original iPhone,
yeah,
was re-engineered and it reamped everything that a smartphone
hmm
does nowadays, right?
hmm
So what do we need to have in order for a new iPhone, a new era of cell phones? Because I think we are stuck with this rectangular shape,
yep,
and there's only like the battery inside of it. There's only so much you can do with this. So
yep.
what do you think we need to have or re-engineered to make this the new thing?
Honestly, and I mean, I at this point, I think people are just gonna copy off of one another. So honestly, I think go the Android Samsung route of like making it um a full rectangle versus having
Around
the
edges.
rounded edges and stuff like that. Um I think that some people were saying, go back to making instead of having a triangle camera, make it go vertical, and that maybe, but like I think that would over exaggerate in making it too similar into a Samsung. Because literally you could just cover the Apple logo and put a Samsung sticker on it, and there you go. But yeah, I think honestly that. Um, I mean, I don't know.
But essentially, it's the same
I
thing, right? It's gonna be the same. I mean,
It's
it's
gonna be
just
the same
basically
thing.
different shape. But
Yeah,
what do we need to have on cell phones that'll make it the next thing? Like the iPhone introduced internet
yeah,
connectivity. It's an internet browser. The
yeah.
BlackBerry was the emails.
Right.
So BlackBerry was kind of like the push and shove to Apple
I
becoming the iPhone.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I would say give us an S Pen or something, kind of like Samsung had, or still has, I should say. But
Yeah, the Apple Pencil Pro.
yeah,
That's cool. I love the Apple Pencil Pro, man. I
dude.
love that
Yeah,
thing.
make an Apple Pencil Mini. People want
That'd be
Mini to
cool.
come back, bruh.
But with
Apple
battery.
Pencil Mini, huh?
But with battery. They
Yes.
want the Mini to come back, but with battery.
Yes.
They hated
Exactly.
the short amount of battery life
Exactly.
you got.
What are your thoughts on that? Honestly, do you think
I actually
Apple went
wanted a
the right
Mini.
way?
I really wanted a Mini.
Hmm
Um, but for economical reasons, I wasn't able to purchase one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I really wanted a Mini, but I'm glad I didn't buy a Mini because um I use my phones like all day. So,
Yep.
I don't like having battery packs or cables with me.
Yep.
Um, so I'm glad. The iPhone Plus that they replaced it with. is also a failure.
Mhm.
I think Apple just needs to stick with iPhone, iPhone Pro, and iPhone Pro Max because that's been
Definitely,
working for them. That's been working for them,
definitely.
and unless the prices are a lot different,
Yep.
then yeah, but the prices are so similar that all right, so I can go with the Plus and have a bigger screen, or I can go with the Pro and have it pretty much the same price but have all these different features.
Right.
But then again, some people are not techies like
Ye
us, and they're just like, "Oh, it's a bigger screen. I want that one, and it's cheaper. Oh, I want that one."
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So, but
And I think phones nowadays pretty much look the same, do the same thing, you know?
yeah,
I mean,
that's why I'm saying like, what do we need in order for us to have the next iPhone moment?
yeah.
Because we can put more cameras, we can put faster processors, we
Bruh,
can put bigger batteries, but
I've
at the
seen
same,
me
it's the same thing.
I've seen memes, and I'll put one on screen, um, editing, but I've seen memes of, like, having the whole back of the phone just be cameras, and it's just like, "What?
Oh yeah, I've
No.
seen that. I've seen that.
No."
Yeah, I've seen that. It's ridiculous. I'm
And
actually I'm actually excited for the iPhone SE because I really just want one
yeah.
camera that can do a lot. And
Do you think
if
that'll ever come back to, like, the whole lineup?
yes, because we want more but less.
Mm,
We wanted a full keyboard. We got the BlackBerry, but we wanted
yep,
less, so we wanted the full screen. So we got rid of it, and that's where the iPhone came out.
right.
So us as human beings, we always want more, but we don't want. When we get more, we want less.
Yes,
You
yes.
you ever like walk into some a kid or something and they have their toys and they have this one toy that they're not playing with,
Mhm.
but you take it and suddenly they want it.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's us from kids. That's what we
Right.
do as from when we were kids. So I think we will go maybe 10, 20 years from now
Mhm,
where the hardware is actually good enough to only have one camera module that could be
mhm.
your your main camera, your ultra wide, and your telephoto all in one.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's still years ahead.
definitely, definitely.
But that's why I'm
What
excited
are
for the
your
iPhone SE. Honestly,
Oh, yeah,
I'm getting that phone. I'm getting it.
yeah. No, I definitely agree. I mean, if they keep this design, like, if they keep the iPhone what it is now, and sorry, my girlfriend's on my, thing, but, yeah, if they keep that in a smaller form factor, absolutely. Um, I think that going into, um, now having this new design, I think honestly that's what they need to do, for the SC, because as much as I mean, I enjoyed having the home button and whatnot, but I think that now all the other phones have the newer design, and at some point, you're just gonna have to drop the old design. Like, I understand that a lot of people liked it and whatever, but you got to get into the new stuff eventually,
I
you
agree.
know?
But it just it's based on your consumer.
Yeah,
Looking
for
at it
sure.
from a manufacturing standpoint where I work, um, it's not what we can do. It's
Mhm.
what our consumers want.
Yeah.
Now, um, we work mainly for Honda,
Mhm.
and Honda was not jumping into the EV ship.
Right.
They recently jumped in,
Mm.
but because they saw the demand for that was climbing.
Right.
but it's all based on what your consumer wants. That's why I'm so analytical that
Mhm,
when I do a YouTube video, I'm always going into the statistics and checking, all right, who saw my video? Where are they at? What are the ages? What can I do? What can I write to recommend and stuff like that?
mhm.
That's what I can do.
Right.
Give me 1 second, brother. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Sorry, man.
That's
So
all right.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty much just based on your consumer. It's
Mhm,
always going to be based on your consumer, and that's why data analysts get paid what they get paid for because they need all that data just to make the new product. Be,
yeah, yeah,
before they actually even make the product, because the manufacturing is going to cost them,
yep,
the research and development is going to cost a ton of money. So before they actually even make the product, they have to do a study based on the consumer. All right, if we
mhm,
make this product, if we make product A and we make product B, which will sell the most?
mhm,
And I have a boss, my boss has a boss, his boss has a boss, and then his boss has a boss, and the president, global president, also has a boss, which is the stockholders.
right,
So we all have a boss at the end, and
mhm,
we have to make him and our customers happy.
right,
So at the
right,
end of the day, it's always going to be about the consumer. It's always going to be about your audience, and you have to really analyze and you have to see what your market is.
right, yeah,
Will we get iPhones with one camera? Sure, if the audience wants it.
mhm, mhm,
We got MacBook Pros back with a bunch of ports. Why? Because the audience wanted it, and there was a lot of people hating on that.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? So I think it's just a matter of what the consumer wants and when we will get it. But will we get it? Yeah, because things are changing, things are evolving, and I might not like or want the same thing my kid wants and likes,
mhm,
and therefore on after. So I think it's just a matter of time before
right,
everything just, translates to all that.
for
But
sure.
I think one camera module, I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope it comes in my lifetime. Battery, I'm also really looking forward to that. There's got to be something. I mean, Iron Man can do it. We can do
Exactly, dude,
it.
exactly.
So, I
That's
mean,
it, man.
there's
That's
there's
it.
a lot of there's a lot of smart engineers worldwide. Um, not just in the US. I've been to, I've been to Japan. It's beautiful. Customer service is fucking amazing over there. You
Oh,
wouldn't
sure.
believe it. But there's smart people everywhere.
Yeah,
There's very intelligent people everywhere. It's just the demand based on where you are. There's th- there's there's different cars in Mexico than in the US for a reason. There's different
right,
cars in the US than in Japan for a reason.
right,
Same automaker, but they make different shapes,
mhm,
different costs, different sizes.
right,
It's all based on your consumer.
right, exactly. Man, I wanna ask you, um, going back a little bit, do you think Apple will ever get into the foldable or flip market?
They have to.
I mean,
I
I'm just
mean,
seeing.
if you look at Samsung's sales for folds and
Mhm,
flips,
mhm,
um, they were low when it started,
yeah,
but they're ramping up. One year might be lower
because
than the
it
next, or
yeah,
vice versa, but they are steadily. If we could graph it, you would see that they're rising,
mhm,
and Apple needs to get into that because there is a market there.
yeah, yeah,
At the end of the day, there's a market there, and
right.
Apple's going to go into wherever there's money.
Oh, for sure.
Any
I
company's going to
I'm
go
I'm
into that.
waiting. I mean, I'm just so surprised that they haven't, like, teased it or anything, or,
I'm not. I'm not. because Apple's a perfectionist.
True, true. Yeah,
So I hate grabbing a flip or a fold and seeing the crease on it.
yeah,
I hate
yeah,
that, and I know Apple's gonna say, "Hey,
yeah.
that could very well be
And you
their
know what?
whole
Like
marketing scheme."
yeah, they like I've had people say, "Oh, you talk so much crap about flips and folds and whatnot," but as soon as Apple does it, you're gonna grab one. And I'm just like, maybe, but I'm not promising anything. But I mean, you just said it yourself. They're perfectionists, and they do things the right way. And I've said this before. I think honestly, especially when it comes to the software, they try, but they also listen to their customers, and that's why we have so many software updates. And I mean, I'm not sure about Android now, but back in like 2010, we didn't see that stuff. Like
But do you wanna know why, though?
why?
As a software developer,
Hmm.
we're we are pressured into pushing things out to production so fast
Hmm.
that we push things out with bugs,
True.
and management knows that.
Yeah.
So we push things out with bugs,
Yeah.
and then you get an update, but that
Yeah.
update only tells you it's to improve your experience with the app.
Hmm.
No, it's to fix the thing that we couldn't fix
The
during the
first time.
phase, during the
Yeah.
first time before it
Yeah.
actually went out to production. And
Yeah.
my teacher always said that, like, if you see a software that has 17 dot blah 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 dot blah 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 before that 17 becomes the 18, that software had a lot of issues because they
Yeah.
had to constantly push out
Yeah.
more updates in order for the software to work, to function
Right.
correctly. So
Right.
back in the day, not a lot of people saw that because they had their time. There was
Hmm.
not a lot of developers.
Right.
The developers were a small section, and everybody thought they were nerds. Nobody wanted to play with them.
Hmm.
Now you go on YouTube, you go on TikTok, you go on wherever, and they're like, "So, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm a software developer." "How much do you make?" "Oh, I make about 200,000 a year." And
Yeah.
and everybody wants to do it, and they do it, but they're getting paid so much, but they're getting forced and the pressure to do it everything fast and now that we use AI.
Right.
We say, "Hey, I need this code to do this, this, and that." We bring it, we implement it, we fix a couple of things. Hey, it's not working properly. I don't care. The deadline's tomorrow. Push it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
at the end of the day, it's just money being thrown, and people need the consumer wants something. We can't give it to them perfectionally just
Hmm.
now. So we push it out just like Apple Intelligence and say, "Hey, here's the first part. Tomorrow you'll get another part, and then the day after you'll get another part. But within those 3 days, we're going to give you updates because we can't fix what we sent you the first time."
Right. Right.
So, as a software developer, I don't. I always look at, all right. Let me see what update this is on,
Hmm.
and you got 10.2.5. You got point 0.5 after the point 2. That means you had a lot of issues.
Hmm.
If you have a point, if you have 15.1, 15.2, 15.3, all right, that could be a new feature that was rolled out, something that they added, something like
Right.
that, right? Just something small,
Hmm.
small enough to make a difference, but not big enough to change it from a 15 to a 16.
Right. Right.
But once you have dot one dot or dot one dot two dot three, then you're like, "Oh, you guys are messing up." And I look at that a lot. And Apple today rolled out
Yeah.
18.2.1.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it also just said improved security or
Dude,
something like
so
that.
many people. Did you see X? So many people
Tweeted
were
that.
like, "What the hell?" Even I don't know if you uh follow Zolotech. Um,
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
even he was like, is Apple slacking? Like what?"
It's like I said, it's 18.2.3.4. All right, they're adding something, a new feature that is not big enough to change the whole operating system to a new one,
Right,
but big enough to make a change. And then the
right.
dots after that, that's just them fixing something that they pushed out before.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also beta.
Well, there is your software lesson for the night. Man, I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us
Definitely.
tonight.
I
Really
appreciate you
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Keep up the great work. Where can people find you?
Oh, everywhere. Tech Amigo, TECHAMIGO, Tech Amigo. I'm on Twitter or X, uh, uh, TikTok. Um, what is that other one? Instagram, obviously YouTube. Um, so I have a lot of scripts. I
Oh, okay.
haven't recorded them. But I'm gonna get the time. The holiday season has been crazy, and if you
Yeah.
guys know Mexicans, we have a lot of family, so we're always, from one house to another, from one house to another. So,
Same with
uh,
Portuguese people. I'm Portuguese, man. I know exactly how it is.
man, so it's been a blessing. Happy to be alive another year, 2025. I want to keep doing, YouTube. I want to keep reaching out to the community and having, going on podcasts, going on, or collaborating with different creators and stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
get feedback or bounce ideas from each other. It's always a plus. So I really appreciate you having me on TA Tech. Uh,
Yeah, definitely, man.
this is definitely fun. I hope you in the back, in the
Absolutely,
future.
man.
We can have
Absolutely.
more creators and we can have a bigger discussion. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
definitely. I'll have to get you on a live stream at some point, man. Guys, thank you
Definitely.
guys for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed. Follow your tech amigo and myself. I'll have links down in the description down below. With that being said, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.